Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all feeling great and looking forward to learning more about water, our new goal. I'm Anamika, Nampoothiry, a civil engineer at Beca. I specialize in water and wastewater engineering, and I am where I am due to my intense passion for anything water. Right from school, I've had a desire to make a change and to help our society to overcome global water crisis. So I went to Queen Margaret College in year 12 and 13, and I did International Baccalaureate, where I took all three sciences at higher level and maths. And I used to love chemistry when I was at school, and I was fascinated at the thought of being able to develop mechanical or chemical processes to treat and purify water. So it wasn't difficult for me to choose what career to go into. And I was lucky that Wellington Institute of Technology provided the civil engineer course that specifically let me specialize in water and wastewater. And then I went on to work as a civil engineer in Northland and moved down to Wellington later because my role at Beca would be more water related. Now, without further ado, let's just let's just now go and look at the journey of water. So where does our water come from? We have three main water sources: groundwater, surface water, and rainfall. These are the three main sources. Rivers and aquifers form the most important freshwater resources in New Zealand. But to understand why freshwater management is important and the role of water engineers is critical in the coming years, we need to understand what the broader term water engineering covers. So it's not just water, freshwater that we deal with as engineers. We look at two more important areas, that's wastewater and stormwater, as the journey of water does not end at your tap. The wastewater from your home is taken to the nearest wastewater treatment plant. As you can see here, this is the processes that it goes through. So it's taken to the nearest wastewater treatment plant through specifically designed pipes. And at the treatment plant, the wastewater goes through different processes, as I said, to achieve a high degree of treatment as per the standards for the release into the environment. So the goal is to be able to make the water pure enough to be released to the ocean. And the third is stormwater, which, if unmanaged, can create floods. This is because we have constructed on top of natural surface like grass and plants, where water could previously just seep into the ground. However, the concrete areas we've created prevents that. So we need to create a path for all the rainwater. And you may have noticed signs near the footpath saying dump no waste, flows to the sea. And this is because we don't really treat stormwater unless we have to. And there are usually small litter traps in the sumps that you see at the curb channel. And then that flows through pipes and goes to the ocean. I've always believed that New Zealand is one of the leading countries that manage and preserve their three waters and the serene blue waters well. But according to the Ministry of Environment, we New Zealanders are facing water challenges, and that include natural algae blooms, when algae tends to develop in waters that have positive environment for them to grow due to nutrients like phosphates and nitrates in the water. And then E. coli, which shows that there is fecal contamination in the water, and land use such as land use and irrigation, as well as dairy farming. So the nitrates and nitrogen leach into the waterways. Then there is indirect effects of population growth, improper urban drainage, as we saw in Napier last week. That was because of that rainfall event was a rare event, one in 500 years. That's we haven't designed for that event. Then loss of wetlands, because we are constructing and destroying our wetlands. So yeah, a couple of such challenges New Zealand faces, as I said, is floods in Napier is the recent example, and the contamination of groundwater in Havelock North. So what does the water team at Beca do? We do everything from start to finish with the three waters. That's drinking water, wastewater, and stormwater. We help the environment, and we help our government design, construct, and manage its assets. We also help with the water challenges I mentioned that we face with water resources in New Zealand. And we have started looking into desalination plants in Auckland to cope with the increasing water demand there. My role, since we are facing problems with our usual water supply resource options in New Zealand, my recent work has included looking at alternative water supply options, and we help. Well, my project work involves helping water treatment plants across New Zealand with water quality issues. I also design pipelines and associated structures like water reservoirs and tanks, and a little bit of data analysis to look at historic data in order to help understand and design water infrastructure for the future. Key STEM skills I use in my role every day is, first of all, curiosity. You need to be curious. You need to be wanting to learn more and to expand your knowledge in the areas that you're interested in. Next up is creativity and critical thinking. To be able to solve problems, you need to come up with smarts. Even as I said, I work with helping water treatment plants. We are constantly being asked to come up with new innovative process ideas to treat water. And the third one is being proactive, being eager to take on new opportunities without being scared, being proactive in communication, following up with people, closing the loop, and getting things done, and being driven. So being proactive means you need to be result focused rather than process focused. It's at the end of the day, it's about what you've achieved, not what you've done to achieve it. Lastly, one thing I wish I knew at your age before pursuing a STEM career is that I wish I built the habit of being inquisitive and curious early on in my career. One thing that I learned is to ask questions. One thing my seniors at work still encourage and ask me to do is to ask questions. And they keep reminding me that the only stupid question is the one that you don't ask. So take opportunities to learn more from the experts. Ask people questions. And as connectivity is increasing in the world, make use of it. Do your research and find the answer. And with that, I'll just wrap up. And thank you for dialing in. And watching this video, if you're watching it later on. Thank you for listening to me today, and please feel free to ask any questions. Thank you.